Let's talk about Resident Evil, the new one, the new Resident Evil. So I already talked about in my last video on Spider-Man about the new Spider-Man coming through, and I did a video on my own, just like, really, Capcom? Werewolves? What's next? Ghost? I know bullets can't shoot ghosts, so you might as well find an exponential shit to come through. So I'm gonna do this in the form of one of my favorites. This shit. Yeah. I already knew your answers. So let's talk, Capcom. So werewolves, huh? Really? You couldn't find anything else? I mean, it would have to be werewolves, like. For real, my niggas. I'm just saying. When I grew up in the late 2000s, 2001, and I was about 2, maybe 3 years old, and I didn't know what was a Resident Evil to me. I figured it was just another concept for something else, right? Hold on. Okay. I thought Resident Evil was just a video game, a horror game, and I was right. It involved zombies, which I was really afraid of. But nonetheless, I was still afraid of that. But it was still horrifying. You already seen my gameplay of it. It was kind of freaking me out, and I kind of screamed, and you know, the rest. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know what the rules until my Uncle who came by all the time, who's living at Granny and Grandma's house, played through my cue box of Resident Evil. I did not know what it was, and I started to rethink, like, what is this game? Why is it called Resident Evil? And the thought occurred to me, like, oh, this is a zombie game, okay. And I grew up having that. So when I was a kid, I grew up very differently, and it was kind of hard for me. But Resident Evil was one of those things. When I first got my PlayStation, after Uncle Al took his Xbox and Hera broke my Xbox. Yeah, I was an Xbox player. Don't shame me. My grandfather left me a surprise. Since everyone got a PlayStation, my grandfather decided to give me a PlayStation for a surprise. Now, I had no idea what it was coming from. I had no idea, so it was like a late 2006, 7, or 8.
Black Ops, you're clear to engage.
So it was either one of those. So at a time, I did not know what I was doing, what I was thinking of, but thoughts occurred, and I started to play Resident Evil, and I showed that to you guys. I like Resident Evil. And the game started to be fun, it started to be cool, and then I enjoyed it. The one thing I didn't enjoy about the whole gameplay and whatnot was the fact that it was kind of horrific. So the first Resident Evil game that came up when I was a kid was Resident Evil 5, which I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what was this, And the only games I already had was, hold on, let me just quit this. Because I'm not sure if these are NPCs or just,
Mission is
you
a
know,
bust.
people.
Bring it next time.
And
Our opportunity will come.
it's been a while since I played this game, so don't question me. I don't know if these like NPCs or whatnot.
Mess with the best, die like the rest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some not NPCs. These are actual people that just don't talk with their mics on. Exactly. I'm the only one with a mic. I don't want to tell the story to a bunch of things, but I think these are NPCs. But anyway, Resident Evil has been one of my life changing. Then, when I grew up, I had a Wii that my biological father gave me to make up to the lost past he did, and it didn't bring that back, but it did somehow do that. But I got games for it. I got Resident Evil 4, and that was basically it for and Mario. Those are the only games I got from those games, and it only continued on more. I didn't beat Resident Evil 4 on the Wii because that shit was way too hard. Like, I'm getting killed left through right, and now I got it for the PlayStation 4, I'm gonna beat it. Oh yeah, trust and believe, y'all gonna get a video of me beating Resident Evil 4 and see how much of a struggle I'm gonna go through. Cause it's gonna be a fucking grind. But anyway, back to this. So when I grew up, Resident Evil was not always about this new one like Resident Evil 8. It wasn't, or Resident Evil 7. It wasn't about the Baker family or the mud zombies that we get, or the must, I don't know what the fuck to call them, mud creatures, whatnot. It was about them zombies. Yeah, yeah. Resident Evil 4 had these mind controlled zombies, but they were disguised as local people. Resident Evil 5 was during Africa, and it was going with African American zombies, which that's kind of, I feel kind of I can't, that feels kind of racist, seeing how we shooting up a bunch of people and oh my god, internet. But I'm gonna have to hold on. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 of this, so give me like a few minutes.